Hi, Misha here, and in kind of my continuing look at helicopters, we're going to look at one from the French Navy. This is the SUD, later Aerospatiale, AS-321 Super Frelon. And in its day, this was one of the largest and fastest helicopters in the world, and the largest and fastest made in Europe. But in the end, it was actually a relatively unsuccessful design, at least from a commercial standpoint. So you wonder, this is called the Super Frelon. There was an original Frelon known as the SE-3200, which was how they designated prototypes. And it was designed to meet a French naval requirement in the 1950s, and also West Germany was an interested party. But then the French kind of upped the game, what they needed it to do. And therefore SUD upgraded and advanced the design, turning it into the Super Frelon. And this was, along with the Puma, the most advanced helicopter design that SUD had in the 60s. It has 3 turboshaft engines. The main body is 63 and some change feet long. The rotor is 6-bladed and actually was contracted out to Sikorsky to kind of design and develop. And this was meant to be a maritime transport, freight, anti-ship, and anti-submarine helicopter. The first prototype flew on December 7th, 1962. And actually it was made to more of a land, kind of Air Force Army standard. It was not yet navalized. The second prototype was, though. It had the full rigging for the deck and folding blades as necessary, and it was available at the end of May 1963. These would be followed by a third and a fourth prototype in 1964, and then 2 pre-production models. And in June-July of 1964, the French government would order the first of these. Again, they would be kind of the land-based variant, but very soon the Navy would place its first order, and that would be the primary customer for this model. One interesting thing, the hull is designed much like a boat. Basically, to some extent, it can float. Kind of harkening back to the flying boats of the 1930s and 40s. Of course, it has a main cargo door. It has a standard crew of 5. When in the transport role, it can carry from 28 fully equipped with supplies soldiers up to 38 if you kind of pack them in. Or it can carry up to 15 medical litters with attendants. In the anti-shipping role, it can carry 2 Exocet missiles. In the anti-submarine role, it can carry up to 4 homing torpedoes. Also, these militarized versions usually had at least one 20mm cannon for defense. Of course, this could also be used for freight transport, search and rescue, combat search and rescue, so on and so forth. Like I said, this was a very fast helicopter for its size and type. It could cruise at 155 miles per hour, very respectable for the mid-1960s, with a maximum speed of around 165 to 170 miles per hour. Its maximum altitude, like a lot of navalized helicopters, wasn't that much. It was about 10,000 to 10,500 feet. On the other hand, it did have an onboard radar. It could be equipped with dipping sonar as well. It was actually a very advanced modular aircraft for its day and time. The French Navy would receive its first SA-321 helicopters, Super Frelons, in late 1965, starting to deploy them on board its vessels in 1966. West Germany, as I mentioned, had been interested, but in the end, it decided to go with the Sikorsky SH-3D Sea King. It just felt that the Super Frelon did not meet its needs. And really, from that point on, that's really about it. Production would continue, transitioning from the original SUD to Aerospatiale, with the last helicopter built in 1981. Most going to the French Navy, a few to the French government, Air Force. But only about 110 were produced. Now, SUD did look for export customers, but this was designed specifically for the French Navy, therefore it really only suited their needs. It was a big, heavy helicopter, and it had to operate off of rather large vessels, and there weren't that many nations that had full-fledged carriers or large-scale cruisers by the 70s and 80s. Anywho, they would continue to deploy it through the remainder of the Cold War, again, mostly in its anti-submarine and transport roles. In 2003, all of the anti-sub and anti-shipping versions would be either decommissioned or transitioned over, so all of the Super Frelons in the French Navy would be used as transports for personnel or cargo. And then these would be retired out in 2010, April 30th. They would have the decommissioning ceremony. And actually their replacement, I'll do a video on soon, would be the NH-90, which did not actually appear in the French Navy until 2011, so there was a bit of a gap. But at that time, the Frelons were getting old, and it was kind of either an upgrade and refurbishment or just retirement. And that is pretty much it. Now this is a 1/72 scale diecast model from Altaya, who I've recently kind of really been enjoying their helicopter series. And this is one I feel really fortunate to get. Typically, Aiken's Airplanes has a lot of the old Altaya stock, but they not only are out of stock on this one, they don't even show it on their website anymore, meaning they don't plan to get any more in. I couldn't find this model anywhere except one place, Diecast Supermart, who I've bought from before occasionally and had good experiences, but I hated to place just an order for a relatively cheap $30 model, paying the shipping and everything, because these usually had to be shipped with, oversized boxes and packing, so Typically, a lot of places, if you order multiple models, you can get reduced or free shipping, but just one can be, you know, 10, 15 bucks. But anyway, I nutted up, grabbed it, and as soon as I bought it, I noticed that store, Diecast Supermart, pulled this off their website too. So it's very likely I probably got their last one. And I, again, haven't found anywhere else that has these in stock. So I feel really lucky. I think this is a really neat aircraft. It has a very different design because of the boat-style body. It's also one of the largest helicopter models that I have. The body's large, and they have this giant six-bladed rotor. Spin it the right way. It returns very smoothly and evenly on these. The Altaya models, the gear are just in the down position. They did kind of semi-retract on the military. But, you know, get what you can get. It does have a, you know, glass for the cockpit and windows. As I've said in other videos, I actually think for the money, the Altayas have a pretty good deliver. It's got a mostly metal body, with the underside being plastic. Comes with a nice stand. This one plugs into its stand really tight, which is good because it's a pretty heavy thing and you wouldn't want it too wobbly. Wheels don't rotate, but oh well, both propellers do. And yeah, this is the only one I could find of the Super Frelon. I don't know if anyone else has done this. If anyone knows if other makers have done this model, let me know please, but I haven't seen them elsewhere. So yeah, one I'm just really fortunate to have picked up over the holidays and getting around to doing a little video for you. I know French helicopters are probably a little bit of a niche thing, but I like them, so that's why I'm doing them on this personal channel. And hope I got some of this in frame for you. Did my best, as usual. But it is a neat model. And a pretty interesting aircraft from a mechanical standpoint, if not necessarily historically all that influential. But don't feel too sorry for Sud Aerospatiale. Most of their other designs actually met with great international success, including this one over here that I had out for a different video, the Super Puma, along with its original Puma. Those two were extremely successful, and this was kind of a sister design to the Super Frelon, so no worries. But they delivered to the French Navy what they needed. And again, a few were used by the government and Air Force, but yeah. Alrighty guys, pretty short and sweet here. There's not a whole lot to talk about, just a good solid Navy chopper. If you have any questions or want to share your own favorite French helicopter, please share them below. As always, if you could, like, share and subscribe, and please tune in again next time.